Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para conan abrir. Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos riba Facebook, subscribe riba YouTube ou riba plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde que tá. Sopi Studio, powered by Qredits. Botiu ideia? Qredits educava e prepara a abo para vir um empresário exitoso. De business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100 mil florim. Bira bom mês donho com Qredits. Sopway. Passa na Sopway para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba. Nós está cerca de Ibo. Sopway. SwingMasterz. Organizando events, conferences of weddings, Mr. de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of flat screen, SwingMasterz está claro para ser boa fiesta éxito. SwingMasterz. E agora, Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba, está apresentar
PillowTalk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduced from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand.
Buon noche. Welcome everybody to PillowTalk today, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, Wednesday for lovers. It's so nice to have all of you here tonight with us. We have a very full house tonight, and I'm super excited about our podcast for this evening. I also want to thank Sopi Studio for having us here tonight again. Always a pleasure to be here. And of course, we got to talk to those that power us so that we can be here. We talk about Subway. We talk about Qredits, we talk about SwingMasterz, and of course the beauties of Yonilove Aruba. We have SuccessBlizz, SuccessBlizz.
No, it's SSA coach and SuccessBlizz.
Yes, let me rewind and come again for that.
And
so
actually, I was supposed to say the sponsors.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
Ryan was supposed to say the sponsors tonight, so I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but I gave it a best shot. But Brian, since you reminded me that you were going to do that, go ahead and thank our sponsors before we continue.
Okay. Okay. These things happen when you're doing a show live. So, thank you to Sopi sponsors, SwingMasterz and Qredits, and to PillowTalk sponsors, Yonilove, Aruba, SuccessBlizz, and Matiz agency. Thank you so much to everyone that it makes this show possible.
Awesome. And now I want to welcome our beautiful people that we have in the studio, and of course our Chuchi Brian from New York. Hi Dina, nice to have you here again.
Hi Chantal, I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, and our two guest invites for this evening, all the way from California. Tiffany, how are you? Welcome.
I'm great. Thank you for having me, and I'm so happy to be back in paradise.
So nice to have you here. We had her on our podcast. She tuned in, and today she's here live, so it's really great to have you. And we also have this beautiful lady sitting across from me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, how are you? My name is Marcela Realpe. I'm the gynecologist here, so I'm very glad to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, super nice. How did we meet this wonderful lady? We met her because on Women's Day, we actually set up a nice little speech for our ladies outside there. We talked about self-stimulation and orgasm. And Dr. Marcela was giving us the anatomy of the orgasm, how it works, where it comes from, the whole female body, and we gave a little twist as we do as our Sexinistas. It was a wonderful experience. It was really great to see. We had a room full of ladies, and the energy was super high. The vibrations were really great. So since we met her there, we've had the conversations. We're looking forward to working with you more in the future. So it was really nice you were able to make some time to come and join us tonight. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Tonight we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, Brian. You know what we're talking about tonight?
No idea. I just came like, I just woke up and get ready for the show and like, okay, what are we going to talk tonight? I know it's no, wait. Entice your tingle with Tiffany.
Yes.
I don't know what Tiffany going to entice me, but Let's go, Tiffany.
Yes. So initially we had Tiffany as our guest, and we added Dr. Marcela because definitely this point of Entice Your Tingle, what Tiffany will talk a little bit about, mainly about the libido and menopause, is one of our main topics for tonight. And I think after a conversation, we had a wonderful meeting with Dr. Marcela yesterday. And we thought, hey, she has to be here so we can continue this conversation and share it with all of you guys, or you ladies actually. Because this information is something that nobody talks about. We keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We are ashamed. No, it doesn't happen to me, or nobody should know. When, newsflash, it happens to everybody. All of us women go through changes in our lives, and it is important that we talk about this openly so that we can share and enjoy our lives even better. So Tiffany, I'm going to give you the floor so you can give me a little bit insight on the enticing your tingle.
What do you want me to give you? Well, going off of what you said, I've met with thousands of women over the last 11 years, and what I really came to realize is that all of us go through things sexually and intimacy-wise, intimately, that we think is just going on with our bodies, but when you get women together and you start asking questions and having conversations and breaking down the shame and the taboo, most of us are going through the same things, whether that is having sex that isn't satisfying, or you're dropping your libido, or vaginal dryness, painful sex, even just issues with how your body's reacting. Sometimes you're too wet, or, you're experiencing new feelings in different ways. And we all think, oh, I'm weird, something's happening. I know that's one of the reasons that I started Entice Me, because I thought I wanted more sex. And when I got out of a relationship with a narcissist, I realized that I really wanted better sex and that I had never had an orgasm. And when I took myself through a journey of learning about my body and learning what pleasure was with just myself and having my first sex toy, having an orgasm, I was like, why don't we teach this to every single woman? It's ridiculous that we don't have education on pleasure. And I grew up in conservative Idaho in the United States, and sex ed was way too late for most people. It was our senior year, and it wasn't really even sex ed. In most states in the United States, you can't mention pleasure or the word clitoris in a sex ed class or a health class.
Crazy.
And so as young women, we are taught that sex comes with consequences, that you can get pregnant, you can get an STD, you can gonna have a bad reputation because if you enjoy pleasure and sex. But then when you get in a relationship, it's really difficult. Then you have all these negative shame and taboos and everything that have been piled on us for generations, that we are held back in our own power.
Yeah, very true. So, Dr. Marcela, looking at from a doctor's point of view or medical point of view, what is your opinion or your thoughts when we talk about sex ed?
Ok. Hablando específicamente de la parte de menopausia, sí me gustaría decir muchas cosas. Entonces, yo siempre les digo a mis pacientes que la menopausia no es un solo estado de la mujer o un solo evento. Se divide en premenopausia. O sea, todo se divide, o sea, se llama más bien el climaterio, así se llama. Entonces, ese se divide en 3 partes más importantes, o en 3 partes donde están los eventos más importantes. Premenopausal stage, que se caracteriza, es entre los 45 y los 50 años aproximadamente. Todos de las edades estoy hablando aproximadamente porque no en todas las mujeres se dan los mismos eventos. Entonces, de los 45 a los 50, el estado premenopáusico se caracteriza por hot flashes, mood swings, menstrual irregularities y también diminution in sexual desire. Todo esto es una transición. Luego, si llega como tal la menopausia médicamente la definición es la ausencia de menstruación, pasa un año y ya nunca más volvemos a ver menstruación. Eso es menopausia. Y posteriormente viene postmenopausal stage, que se caracteriza más que todo, su característica más grande es la resequedad vaginal tan importante que produce esto. Entonces yo invito a las mujeres que todas tienen como un ánimo como, bueno, pues ya, esto fue lo último que yo viví, esto fue lo último que yo hice, yo ya no tengo, ya no necesito pensar en sexo porque no, ya no tengo ningún deseo, pero se han olvidado que no necesariamente estar uno en el estado de menopausia significa que uno no pueda disfrutar de un self-stimulation y de todas las ventajas que eso puede traerte y los beneficios que tiene para tu cuerpo sin necesidad de tú tener que recurrir a medicamentos extras. Entonces eso es muy importante que lo pongamos acá, porque nosotras debemos también sentirnos orgullosas. Es como, yo estoy en la adolescencia y lo viví al máximo. Bueno, pues estoy en mi estado premenopáusico y en mi menopausia tengo mis efectos secundarios, así como cuando estoy adolescente y tengo, no sé, pimples. Cuando estoy en menopausia pues tengo otras cosas, pero tengo que aprender a disfrutarlo y we have to enjoy all the stages of our life because it's very important. Y ahí entonces en ese disminución del deseo sexual es cuando venimos nosotras a intervenir, porque puede que haya disminución de ese deseo sexual, pero eso no significa que yo morí sexualmente o que ya no puedo desear o que no, o que yo no me puedo o que yo también nunca más voy a volver a sentir un orgasmo. Eso es mentira. Sí, entonces tenemos que
I do agree totally with you, Dr. Marcela, and that's why in my office I do teach women, or we do teach women to rediscover themselves in these periods, because you don't recognize your body anymore. It's totally. For example, I take myself as an example. I always had a toy. So I always used only my clitoris, like the majority of women. So I didn't know the other points until I got to know Tiffany as my coach. Okay, then I started exploring. However, a year after I started with Tiffany, I started with my perimenopause stage. So what happened? My clitoris was not responding as always. So I got to know my G-spot, my P-spot, my cervix, so then I had other stuff to go and explore in myself. And it was beautiful, because when I go outside, people tell me, Dina, what did you do? What are you doing? You look younger. I just got an orgasm.
yeah.
And I lived it like that. That is how look, when I got to know Tiffany, when I was searching for something like this to come on the island, I do believe in coaches. So I always had a coach, either appointed to me or I paid for one. So we got in a discovery session. See, I had a free discovery session with Tiffany, and she radiated. Because I had other coaches that were radiating like zero. They were like fake. I need to say like it is, okay? So I asked Tiffany, because I'm like that. What do you do, lady? You are radiating some kind of energy. And she said, I get an orgasm. I just got an orgasm. And that's what I teach people also. I teach people get an orgasm before you get on stage, you do your interview, get an orgasm. And see how different you will respond.
It's very, the word orgasm so when I gave my speech on stage and I did my research to talk about orgasms, I went back to the Middle Ages. And it's funny because today one of my colleagues came to me, I posted a meme, says, if men would believe that only by orgasms you get pregnant, there would only be 11 people in the world. I thought that was absolutely amazing, because in the Middle Ages, they strongly believed that for women to get pregnant, they had to orgasm. So they would get the priest knocking on the door telling them, hey, you have no kids, what's going on? You're not taking care of your woman? Come on, get to work. And then as time passed by, that taking care of changed and switched, and it became shameful. And why? Now, we today are sitting here in this room and we're talking about the importance of orgasm, specifically when it comes to menopause, but it's just in general. For women, orgasm is important. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was telling my douchey today, like, okay, I got my portion of collagen this morning. I feel great. It's super important. I mean, I can see, and I learned that from both Dina as well as from Tiffany. I can walk into a room and I can see, okay, you have not had an orgasm in a while. Girl, you got a problem. The color of their skin, their attitude, just the way they walk, the way they are not shining, it just shows. Orgasm is a good thing. It's a healthy thing. It actually heals diseases in a sense. You know, you heal you create this self-healing process inside in an organic way. So don't let anybody lie to you or tell you that, oh, it's bad to do an orgasm, it's bad to touch yourself. I do agree. It can be sometimes a little concerning if you're going to touch yourself in everywhere and all the places. Yes, you do have to have some privacy because not everybody respects and understands. I remember my daughter was doing it in every corner, on the sofa, in front of the TV, by the neighbor, and I was like, oh my gosh. I know she's going to hate me when she listens to these podcasts because she's like, Ma, why are you talking about me? But she was a child. She was 4. She had no idea. She was exploring.
And it's a part of the development of the knowledge of de la parte sexual, el desarrollo, sexual development of the human.
Yes, correct.
You have this part, and it's important. And Sigmund Freud described this, and it's a real, and it's not a pathology behavior. No,
it's a healthy behavior. Now, Dina loves Sigmund Freud, by the way.
I don't love him. We need to rediscover another because I think he's real old. We need to. I like that.
We're doing Dina Alexander.
There is, that is partly where a lot of young women, or even women, especially women our age and our mother's age, grandmother's age, is that they were told it was bad. They weren't told, hey, just do it in private. Your body is your body. And they were shamed. I mean, I have clients that their parents that told them that, their eyes were going to blow up or whatever if they touched themselves.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so then that's always in their subconscious that's something bad's going to happen when you experience pleasure. And it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
Pero, por lo menos, bueno, en ese caso, los padres dijeron algo, pero es peor cuando ni siquiera te lo mencionan. Que tú tienes que llegar a todo por ti mismo y cometiendo errores y a veces sintiendo cosas feas, pero yo creo que es un error, o sea, porque, ay, qué pena, yo voy a decirle a mi hija que la vagina, que el pene, o sea, tenemos que empezar a cambiar nuestra mentalidad, que esto es que lo que uno no educa en sus hijos es un social media, sí lo va a hacer, y de una manera perversa y una desinformación total. Entonces, y tocarse es aprender. Yo tengo muchas pacientes que me dicen aquí y no saben qué es, y vagina es todo. Y uno es como, no, espérate, porque no estás ubicada, o quieren hacer unos exámenes que de pronto no tienen nada que ver con lo que están sintiendo. Entonces, es muy importante saber que ubicarse, conocerse, y así mismo se va desarrollando el amor por sí mismo.
Propio, sí.
¿Sí? Y también o sea, hasta dónde llega el límite del otro para que no interfiera en mi espacio, ¿sí? Y no ser violentada también. Eso es importantísimo.
I would like to share, now that Dr. Marcela said that, I would like to share. Brian, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I have been trying, but this is like a baseball play. One goes and the other one, and I'm like, wait, okay, fine, keep going. So, what I want to add these ladies that don't own their sexuality, they become mothers, and they become sometimes mother of a man, and they transfer their insecurity to their sons, and then it become a problem because this man will grow and he will go through this life with a woman, having this idea of the wrong idea of how to treat a woman. I feel that when a woman own their own sexuality, and she can talk about it, and she can learn, she can teach her son about the correct way to treat a woman, what is real sexuality, no problem talking about this, having the knowledge, having the information, she can help educate better mans. That's something that I want to I want to add.
I agree.
It becoming the wrong timing. That was a long time ago a comment that I had, but thank you.
Do you want to do the next comment, right, since you're talking right now?
No, never mind.
I have to say, before Dina takes over, what is beautiful tonight is I feel the intense high vibrations with these 4 ladies in here in this room, and Brian also all the way from New York. It's really great. We started this movement, I call it a movement, or this community, because we wanted to educate our people out there, our ladies, our girls, our daughters. They need that information today, not tomorrow, not on porn, not on whatever their friends tell them, but they need the correct education. So I just wanted to share, because this vibration in here right now is like super awesome. Go ahead, Dina.
Dr. Marcela said something that I would like to share, what we do as Sexinista. And maybe Tiffany can explain also what is a Sexinista, because she is the chief
guru.
She's the guru. Okay, so when we go do our soirees, our sex toy parties, we go with a puppet vulva. We have 3 points that I allow this puppet to go in hands, so that the people can touch where they have
Pressure points.
No pressure.
They have little beads on them, little diamonds.
Bling, bling. Little diamonds on the clitoris, little diamond on the urethra, a little diamond on the G-spot.
Okay.
So these in a playful way, because the vulva is she's very cute. She's a puppet. And
Dina's is called Fifi.
Yeah,
mine is
called
Perlita.
Fifi. So
Mine's China the vagina.
China the vagina.
So,
Brian's is Ruby.
So-
They all got a name.
Oh my
I've been doing this for 2 years.
And what is my name?
We gotta find one for you.
No, when I've been doing this for 2 years. So when Fifi goes in hand, she loves it, by the way. Well, no, but we go.
Yeah, she's very hot.
But the ladies do keep their hands like, oh, here it is, and here it is, and here it is. And Dina, do we all have a G-spot? And if I get those questions, my question to you, Dr. Marcela, is, are there women that come to you that they
Have no idea.
No, they don't have.
They don't have
They
it.
don't have
Don't
any
have any
idea
idea.
about anything.
Yes.
It's insane.
And
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
very-
that's why I love this movement, because we need to take care of our women. Okay, we as women need to take care of ourselves. So at least that they know where the G-spot are, and yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
if
I
the
agree.
clitoris doesn't work anymore as mine did, because I got into my perimenopause,
Yeah.
then at least you have another point.
That you can work on.
Yeah,
There's enough to explore.
Yeah.
Very true. What do you do, Dr. Marcela, when your patients come to you and ask you, like, okay, so I'm not excited, I'm not aroused, what do? I don't feel anything.
It's very difficult because we don't have so many choices, because we don't have so many options, because they have muchas enfermedades las cuales contraindican el uso de estrógenos o de medicamentos como la tibolona, que nos ayudan muchísimo con el aumento del líbido. Entonces, pues yo he sugerido a muchas que pueden utilizar la masturbación como una opción para poder sentirse mejor, lubricar su vagina de una manera natural. Pero wow, la sorpresa ha sido como...
Yo tengo que hacer
Oh
¿qué?
my God, what are you suggesting me to do? You are crazy. Pero a mí no me importa. Yo necesito decirlo porque creo que necesitamos ir, o sea, no podemos quedarnos en eso. Es que yo también voy a estar en ese lugar un día y no quiero sentirme así. Y me siento ahora muy feliz porque también lo he compartido con mi esposo y él ha estado, él me anima cada vez. O sea, Entonces yo digo, pero pues yo también quiero que mis pacientes sepan que no es algo malo, que a veces se sienten muy cohibidas de decir muchas cosas, pero yo las animo a que si estás aquí conmigo, aprovecha que estás conmigo, pregúntame, dime, ¿en qué te puedo ayudar? ¿Cómo puedes mejorarlo? Pero pues estamos investigando para poder ayudar muchísimo más a las mujeres, para que sean más plenas. No, solamente en mi vida fértil tuve orgasmos, pero ya después en mi menopausia soy anorgásmica. Eso no es verdad. Entonces tenemos que, o sea, hay muchas cosas pero esto es una introducción muy importante y lo he hecho desde que estoy acá, porque antes no tenía mucho tiempo para hablar con mis pacientes. Ahora sí lo tengo y lo aprovecho muchísimo.
So Tiffany, you've mentioned to us that back home in the U.S. you work together with the doctors and you do workshops and everything. Can you give us a little more insight on that and how important it is and what the results?
Yes. When I started Entice Me, I really wanted to bring education and sex education to people where they were already at, where it was easy for them. And I'm always big about building other businesses as well for people and multiple streams of income. And so part of my original plan was to go into OBGYN offices, pelvic physical therapists, people who already are talking about females' intimate parts and the body, and sex probably comes up. And so bringing products into doctors' offices, bringing workshops in so that we're partnering with doctors who are the trusted, and just elevating the whole industry of sex toys and intimacy and pleasure, that it doesn't have to be seedy and crass. It can be classy, educational, and we're the little black dress of pleasure, so we have pearls and black dresses and heels, and that's the education we bring. It gives doctors an added income stream that is not reliant on insurance. In the United States, a lot of doctors are struggling because they're waiting for insurance payments. Also, most doctors in the United States don't know anything about sex because they get 6 hours of training in medical school about sex.
Oh my gosh.
Every workshop I've ever taught in either in any doctor's office, no matter what kind it is, they're like, oh, I just learned more about than I ever even learned in medical school.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's totally true.
Yes.
They never told us how it works, not even exists.
Well, that's interesting that you said that. So in Victorian times, in about the 1850s, is when female anatomy was actually taken out of medical books.
Correct.
And how can we learn about the body and discover new things? I mean, the whole clitoris wasn't even discovered until 1995. Everybody thought it was just the little gland on the outside.
Yep.
If we were dealing with men's pleasure and men's libido, if men had to go through menopause, that would they would never be as uncomfortable as we are.
No, very true. Very true. Huh. Interesting stuff, huh? Hey, Brian, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Interesting stuff, huh, Brian?
Very interesting. I'm really surprised that about what Tiffany says, that the doctors doesn't know all the information about sex. So it's nice that we have this movement and that we are there teaching people about sex. Even for me, when I started working with Dina as her marketing manager, it was so funny because I had to work promoting sex without the sexual part that I know. Like for me, everything was penetration. Everything was focused on sexualize the woman or the man, and it was a completely different view about looking the spiritual side, the human side, the emotional side, all those sides that you can bring into the bed and into the intimacy. And it was more about connection. It was more about how to be able to take the sex to the next level. That's actually Dina's slogan. Let's take sex to the next level.
Yeah, I agree.
When I got to know Tiffany, she told me about she had a doctor. She worked together with a doctor, and she told me all what she just said. But for me, it was like, no, it couldn't be happening here on the island, because everybody looks at the doctor like they are gods. Okay, they know everything, and I think they do know a lot. However, this part of intimacy, I think, because I have clients doctors, and when they start with me, they tell me, you know, Dina, we've been taught this, but not like how you are presenting it. So I need to try it and start at myself first, then try to help my clients if I can. So I find this very interesting, and people should know more about this. I like this podcast now even more, because we are reaching more
When we started
people.
in the beginning, Dina was like,
it.
I don't know, yeah. Okay, after 3, like, okay, I'm out.
It was heavy. It
Yes.
was heavy.
Yes.
It was like it was first time in Aruba, people talking about openly about sex, coming out there and saying like, hey, you have to get an orgasm. And it was hard for us because we was like, okay, now everybody can see us public. Everybody can go online and see what we are talking about. And it was like, at the beginning it was hard. But then when we start getting acceptance and people like, hey, we want to invite you to talk with us. And hey, I like what you're talking about. It was amazing.
Yes.
And the feedback
Totally agree.
have been amazing since.
Tiffany.
I was going to say that, you know, if we look at sex like it's a function of life. It's literally where all life force energy comes from. Sex creates babies and is pleasure, and it's our sacral chakra, and it's really the basis of our
Life,
body
yep.
and our life. And so is food and nourishing our bodies that way. And we talk about our dinner all the time. We Instagram our plates, everything, but yet we got to talk about sex and everybody's going to freak out.
Yes.
But when we can communicate about sex, that's what makes it so much better, is because if you don't, and you know, it starts with you. If you don't know your own body and what turns you on and what gets you going, there's no way you can tell your partner what you like.
Yep, very true, very true. Dr. Marcella, for you as a doctor, you definitely focus on the medical side, and we talked about the fact that you guys don't really get a lot of this portion of the information when it comes to sex. What is it that you, let me see how I rephrase that. When we had our little speech, when we set up this little thing, because every year you do something at your location for Women's Day, correct? So this year you want to do something different. So you had set up the seminar and invited for the workshop these ladies to come. Now, how is it that you came to that point that you wanted to? I know you said that, okay, we have to talk about this. This is done. What do you think is something that could change in the medical world so we could make this more fluent and more normal for people to be like, okay, we can talk about sex in school or when you go to medical school. What can we do? What do you think?
Yo creo que lo que tenemos que hacer es precisamente normalizar este tema para que no sea más un tabú y es un camino muy difícil de recorrer, yo lo sé, pero siempre hay un inicio. Y lo que podemos hacer es precisamente poco a poco ir cambiando la mentalidad de todas nosotras, pero enseñándoles precisamente a las mujeres que tú no necesitas ser una reina de belleza para sentirte, para
Bella.
estar linda.
Nope.
Ni que tienes que tener todos esos estereotipos que te da el social media, que es, no sé, Gigi
90,
Hadid,
60,
sí,
90.
O sea,
Sí.
no. Es más, cuando tú tienes un orgasmo, puede ser muchísimo más bonita.
Ujú.
Sí, porque tú lo reflejas desde adentro.
Sí, seguro que sí.
Entonces, eso es lo que tenemos que hacer. Ir educando a nuestros pacientes, pero como introduciéndolas, que sepan que hay estos espacios donde tú puedes hablar, donde tú eres importante. A los niños, educarlos en absolutamente todo. Es que todo comienza en nuestra casa. Para que esto, cuando sean más grandes, no sea un tema tabú, no tengamos miedo, no sepamos quiénes, dónde se encuentran nuestras partes íntimas. O sea, es tan normal. O sea, yo me impresiono porque muchas mujeres van a mi consulta y sienten muchísima vergüenza, y pues está bien. Pero hay unas que definitivamente yo digo, pero espérate un momento, o sea, yo soy el médico, yo no te estoy viendo de una manera vulgar, nada, simplemente quiero. Pero entonces imagínate cómo será con una persona. A veces ni siquiera hablan con su pareja de nada, de su cuerpo. Entonces pues, y les da pena.
Ujú.
No. Ah, bueno, ya llegaste tú. Las mujeres por lo general nos pasa eso, ¿no?
Sí.
Ya llegaste tú. Y uno,
Ujú.
bueno, ¿y yo qué?
Ajá. Sí.
Esto es una educación, es difícil, pero tenemos que, we have to try.
Doctora Marcela, usted dijo, you said that the education starts at home.
Ujú.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is my thing. At what age? Because this is majority of the soirees. These questions I get. Dina, at what age should I start giving my daughter a vibrator, for example? Because we talk about masturbation, so using the masturbation to calm the menstruation
the
pain.
pains.
Yeah.
And see what age, and what else? I had another question, but that's the most important question. At what age because the education should start at home. At what age do you recommend?
Yo pienso que desde los 13, 14 años, no como, o sea, es que es como un proceso, ¿sí me entiendes? Primero, ¿qué fue lo que te ocurrió cuando eras pequeña? Hablarlo sé sincera con tu hijo o con tu hija. Y que tú no sientes pena de hablar de la sexualidad. Es difícil, pero debes hacerlo. Después de eso ya puedes introducir más o menos como a los 13, 14 años, yo pensaría que podría ser. ¿Qué significa tener un orgasmo? Y que no solamente tú puedes llegar a un orgasmo con tu pareja, sino que tú lo puedes hacer para ti, y cuáles son los beneficios que eso te trae.
Porque I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me say one thing. Then here on the island, when girls do have a lot of blood or they have a lot of pain, they prescribe
The pill.
The pill. Sorry, the
The contraceptive pill.
contraception. and
Birth control pill.
Yeah, birth control pill. So I do tell my moms that, look, as a mom, you should have a helicopter view and see which one is better, the pill or a vibrator.
The chemical or the organic?
Or the organic. And talk with your doctor. See what you guys can come up and to be better for the kid. Don't only accept the pill and put your signature, because the kid is not allowed to use the pill without the consent of the parent.
But you do need to keep in mind that there's a lot here on the island. There's a lot of religious thought process behind it. Because, for example, yes, the contraception is...
and traditions.
Yes, and traditions. The contraception helps if you have too much flow and pain, and it regulates. An orgasm and masturbation also helps. But having a vibrator for a 13, 14, 15-year-old in the traditional and the religious is like, no, we don't do that. I'm pushing my child to go and have sex. No. Tiffany.
No, it's actually the exact opposite from
opposite.
Opposite. Because boys, it's like a rite of passage to masturbate. And for girls, it's like, oh, we're not going to tell them about it or talk about it. Then they're going to just not want to have sex. No, teen hormones are crazy. We all have been there. And I agree, 14 is about when I tell, but every girl matures differently, but they've already started their periods. They already are starting to feel around down there. They should know what's going on. Also, I believe that when they self-pleasure and learn about their bodies, they have the confidence that they're not going to go out, and they don't have to go out and have sex with someone else because they want to feel loved, because they're going to have the self-love that they already, and it helps with body image issues. How many young ladies and young men have body image issues? You have pimples and braces, and probably the most lovely
awkward
part of our life. And if you could feel better about your body by getting that oxytocin running through your bloodstream and being released, then you're going to feel so much better about yourself. I believe that if we teach young women how to self-pleasure or masturbate, that it can cut down on teen pregnancy.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Because
Yeah,
they would be less inclined to go and look out there, and they would be more.
They want someone to love them. They want somebody to take care of them. But if they already have that confidence themselves, they don't need that.
Correct.
And men know that, and sorry, Brian, that you and every man out there, but it's not just, we've got to start with the men, because that's where the change is. Men have known that sex is power for the entire beginning of time.
Yep.
And it's not just religion here on the island. It's across every continent, every religion, every
country,
culture. And we all say that. You wouldn't believe, I live in America. We've got everybody, it's just my religion, I'm Indian. No, it's not. It's everyone.
Yeah, true.
Every single religion takes the pleasure and tries to squelch it for women.
It's insane if you think about it. So when we talk about the clitoris or the clitoris, however you want to pronounce it, but it's still an organ of pleasure. There are around 4 million women or 400 million women that actually their clitoris has been destroyed. And just because it's for a religion or a tribe that says, you don't need that. There is... So there was actually a doctor that said you should smear acid on it because it's not worth it. It's not a good thing. The fact that there are tribes that say the clitoris is the problem why women get pregnant. So we should get rid of it. They're not supposed to have pleasure. They're not supposed to enjoy when the only reason that they have the vagina or that hole between their legs is to create children and nothing else. The fact that sex, by the way, for men is power, but it's also pleasure for them in so many different ways. Why is it not pleasure for women? That is total contradiction. Now, when you talk about, Tiffany talked about for power for men, I've noticed when I took more ownership of my sexuality and I was more confident, there's a lot of not doors that I get in my face, but there's a lot of, especially from the male side, that you get that, whoa, okay, you're a little beyond intimidating. But it's just the fact that I stand tall in my shoes and like, yeah, no, yes, I've had my orgasm today and I'm going to take you down.
And not just take, not
not take you down, but
I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm going to stand in my power and not accept a lower wage or, you know, not the opportunity that my male counterparts have.
Exactly. It is impressive how something so beautiful has been misused specifically by the women. And we're talking about self-pleasure and sex, orgasm, masturbation. And it should be known. You should be able, like we're having this conversation today, which I remember when we started the podcast, as much as I love to talk about sex with my girlfriends, it was always still a little superficial. But now we're like, how many podcasts further? Around 40 plus. And then we've done a lot of research and you get to know a lot more things. And it's a totally different type of conversation.
Yo quiero decir una cosa. ¿Por qué para los niños, o bueno, les tengo una pregunta, ¿por qué, o para todo el mundo, por qué para los niños, o porque vemos normal que los niños sí se masturben en cierta edad y es normal? Uh-huh. Pero cuando ves a una niña es caótico.
Uh-huh.
It's chaotic. Entonces, ¿y por qué cuando una mujer, cuando un hombre se masturba, normal, un hombre ya adulto, pero cuando una mujer habla de que yo me masturbo, es una libertina, uh-huh, o es casi una prostituta?
Sí.
Uf.
Se ve sucio.
Sí, se ve sucio.
Uh-huh. Sí, o sea, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué? O sea, ¿qué nos hace diferentes a nosotros, a los hombres? O sea, no tenemos absolutamente, o sea, es absolutamente normal. Antes no estoy siendo nada, o sea, y yo como decía ese día en la reunión que tuvimos, no le estás siendo infiel a nadie. No tienes que llevar ningún tacón, no tienes que invertir en mayores cosas. Es tu espacio, es tu momento, ¿sí? Entonces, que no, quizá de pronto hasta mi esposo se sentía como, bueno, entonces ahora tú te vas a empezar a masturbar más, entonces pues yo también voy a hacer lo mismo. Entonces es como que, no, pero me vas a cambiar a mí por la masturbación. What the fuck? Perdón.
No, tranquila. You're okay.
I love you.
That's power, ladies.
Sorry. No te voy a cambiar a ti. O sea, tú eres, más bien ven uh-huh, y o sea, compartimos. O sea, hagámoslo juntos.
Así mismo.
O sea, que es importante todo eso. Y así se siente y bien. Y pues él ahora tiene una visión un poco más diferente. Pero sí, pues esas son las cosas que tenemos que empezar a normalizar y eso es lo que debe quedar de esta charla.
Sí.
Bueno, además de todo de los beneficios de los orgasmos y en las edades que se puede, o sea, que en todas las edades que se puede, y además cuáles son los beneficios tan grandes que tiene en una mujer que está en menopausia.
So, Tiffany, I want to take this opportunity. She just mentioned the word menopause and the benefits of orgasm, and when we talk about libido, you want to share a little bit more about that point? Because I know you're also very passionate about it, aside from all the other things that she does. So many.
The benefits of orgasms are one of my favorite things to talk about because it's really ways that your body can heal. And there's some really great statistics that I don't make up. They're really statistics that it helps with heart health. It helps with cardiovascular strength. It helps with depression, pain relief, like you talked about for cramps. But I have fibromyalgia. I have a client that has severe ME, and she has come into her sexuality, and we're both the same age. We're 48, and we manage our pain pretty much for our chronic pain with orgasms. My favorite is that it's like Botox without needles because It's one of the only ways your body naturally produces collagen is when you have an orgasm. All the hormones and everything stimulate collagen production and endorphins. I did a post, if you want to look at my Facebook, last week of before orgasm and after orgasm, 1 hour apart, same lighting, everything.
Yep.
And it was
Day and night, literally.
completely different.
Yeah.
It helps with sleep and that's definitely a perimenopause. That's why I ran to the doctor. Is I wasn't sleeping. I was exhausted all the time. My brain fog was crazy. Orgasms help with all of that.
I have a question. This is a question that I got the last soiree that I got. I had a mixed soiree, men and women. So a gentleman asked me, does this vibrator desensitize
The clitoris?
No,
No.
that's the opposite. Also,
I want you to verify because we need to educate men.
so when you have any gland or part of your body that's nerve endings, which the clitoris is 4,000 nerve endings, that whenever you stop using something for a while, you lose the sensation. If you think about if you've ever had a cast on any part of your body and then you stop using your hand, if it's on your hand for 6 weeks, you take it off and you can't feel your hand. You have to learn how to pick stuff up again, kind of. And it's the same with your clitoris. The more you use it, the more sensation you're going to have. And when a woman has one orgasm, it's easier to have another orgasm. I used to never orgasm, like I mentioned at the beginning. And now pretty much every time I have sex or any time I'm intimate with my partner, I have multiple orgasms. And I've trained my body to do that, and I train other women to be able to do that as well. Because it's not just one thing. It's not just the physical or the mental or emotional. It's a whole trifecta for orgasms.
Interesting. So I'm going to ask the question about multiple orgasms. So you're saying that you can actually train your body to have multiple orgasms. Every woman can have multiple orgasms. Even if you take a very long time to orgasm, you can train yourself. And that's by...
I mean, there is a percentage of women that are anorgasmic, that are unable to have an orgasm. But most women can train their body. It's your mental and emotional, physical training and tone of your pelvic floor muscles, positioning, and being present in your skin and in your body and paying attention to what's going on. And then your hormonal, the biological part of it is a component too, where your hormones are. I mean, you may not be able to have multiple orgasms every time. There's times of the month that you may just not get there. That because your testosterone and estrogen are at different levels, but that doesn't mean you can't have pleasure. I just tell my partner, hey, I'm not going to get there today. Having a great time.
Yep.
But communicating that instead of putting the pressure on yourself.
Yeah. That's one of the things we talk about a lot. We always talk about communication, how important it is to communicate to yourself and to your partner so that they understand. Like you just said, I'm not going to get there today, but doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying myself. A lot of times, the way
men can have multiple orgasms and train themselves to do
Yes.
that as well.
Yes, they definitely can. Okay, so maybe I say it the wrong way, but this is the norm as to usually when you have a male and a female or two people together and they have sex, the man comes and then I'm done, ciao. But they forget that if you have your woman come first, if you have her orgasm and come to her climax and her bliss, you're going to enjoy your whole sexcapade a lot more. But men usually have that mentality because they've been taught that I have to bang, 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 and come. When if they take right, Brian? That's my motto. I always talk about bam, 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 bam. So wrong. But
guys, that's not how most women like to enjoy penetrative sex either.
No. Sometimes it's come on.
Yeah.
We're done. Yeah, come on, but so fast because I don't want to do this anymore.
No, it gets unpleasant. So if you as a guy think that bam, 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 bam turns a woman on. There are some women who enjoy that, yes, but we need that foreplay. We need that attention. We need that little, yeah, wonderful, great. You are beautiful. Look at this kiss here. We need all of that. And then you can come up to the point where you get hot and heavy and you go bam, bam, bam. Okay, but you built it up. Don't just ram it in there and think, okay, good, this is working. Is it good for you? Or as the meme says, after 45 seconds, I came. Did you? No, I came to the wrong address.
I know.
God, no.
But that's why I teach semen retention, because the longer the man can take their time and enjoy the moment and be in the moment, the longer they give the opportunity to the woman to come or have an ejaculation. Because mostly men are focused like in the orgasm, in the ejaculation, and it's right away. It's like, okay, I do this. It's a checklist. They don't take their time to enjoy the moment, to have pleasure. So that's why I teach semen retention, so the man can hold longer and give the woman the time and the space to enjoy the moment, because woman takes more time to have an ejaculation than men. Like honestly, women have like their vulva. Women have so many parts. Like Dina was the one that taught me how a vulva works. I was like, honestly, going to be a Sexinista, I was like, Dina, honestly, I don't know how a vulva works. Like, teach me. And I was so surprised of all the buttons and all the system of a vulva. Man is just like, there's more about the man, but still the man is like up and down and then he will come. That's it. Even I know about men that only with the touching they will come. That's so easy for them. The men have like, their life is so easy, and they make it harder for the woman, that I'm like, I that's why actually one of the reasons why I become non-binary, because I don't feel like I can be a man. I can be the concept of a man, the idea of the alpha man. So that's why I'm like, no, I'm not into that. I'm not into become a woman. I'm a non-binary.
Now, Brian, I would like to, what you just said makes sense. I have some clients lady clients, they don't want to touch their part, their vulva, because they don't like the smell, they don't like the sense, they don't like it's wet, so they don't love themselves to even touch there. And it's very, so what I need to do is for them to get to love themselves first. So we do have a lot of lubricants, and this part I would like for Tiffany to talk a little bit more, because there is a reason why she has a kind of such a kind of lubricants on her website. Okay, so can you tell us, Tiffany, why did you choose these kinds of pleasure products instead of what we see in the Chinese here on the island?
So I'm very particular about what I eat, what I put in my body. I was in the cosmetic industry in the past, and I realized like we don't need things to be preserved for 30 years. So I started looking at the products I was using, and I noticed that some of my toys were changing color in the box, and so I was like, if they're doing that in a box, what are they doing in my body? Mm-hmm. And that's when I found out that chemicals that were outlawed in children's toys aren't outlawed in adult toys. We put those in the most porous parts of our body. In the U.S., they are working on passing a bill right now that has some regulations on sex toys, but up until this month, there haven't been any regulations on novelty products, which is what sex toys are labeled. So there doesn't have to be any truth in what it says on the package. It could say it's 100% platinum silicone. It doesn't have to contain any silicone at all. And that's where there's been a big disconnect in the industry, and where we've really worked hard to get some standards, because if kids shouldn't put it in their mouth, you shouldn't put it in your vagina or your ass, because it's going to leak chemicals. Then I started looking at like the lubricants, and I was using the Target KY, oh, well, it's KY, right? That's a medical grade product. No, I found out that in 1980 is when KY jelly became non-medical grade. And so, and then looking at chemicals, I was just trying to avoid that could cause any irritations. I work with a lot of cancer patients, and parabens are found in 99% of breast cancer tumors. That's a chemical preservative that we don't need our lube to last 30 years. It can last 3 years and it's fine. If you aren't using it in 3 years, you should probably figure go to a Sexinista and figure something else out. But, you know, everything that I carry and have put into our curated line at enticeme.com is all body safe. It's all medical grade. It's all free of phthalates, heavy metals, parabens, glycol, glycerins, anything that you can irritate your body. The scariest thing I did when I was, that I found out when I was doing a presentation on chemicals was that I bought some just generic lubes that I was comparing the ingredients. And I was reading the ingredients of the KY, I think it was the warming. And it was honey, glycerin, propylene glycol, and like water were the ingredients. There's nothing in that is warming. I dug and dug and dug on the Johnson & Johnson website, found that what causes that lube to warm is the high concentration of propylene glycol, which is an active ingredient in antifreeze, which they de-ice plane wings with. They take barnacles of boats off, you know, things
Rub it
like
on
that.
your clitoris, they say. Yay.
And so many women have come to me and said, I don't use lube because it hurts, it burns, it stings, I get an infection. Well, yes, those warming products on the general market are actually drying out your tissue to the point that you're feeling warmth and burning. So, for example, our warming and cooling products have essential oils that naturally warm. Cinnamon, peppermint.
Okay.
Because that to me is terrifying. And, you know, and I do workshops even with some of the most prominent sexual medicine doctors in the world, and I train them and their staff. And, you know, for menopausal women, they're suggesting products that have propylene glycol in them, that then they're dry, and then we're
drying them out more.
And that's just an education piece that we need to work on around the world.
Pero o sea, estoy impresionada de lo que acabas de decir, porque eso es lo que nosotros formulamos todo el tiempo. Los típicos lubricantes que están disponibles en cualquier botica. Y muchas pacientes lo dicen. Ahora estoy peor. No me sirve para tener relaciones sexuales. Me siento mal. Entonces, it's burning sensation, it's an inflammation, and it's why, yeah? This is the explanation, yeah? The components of this lubricant, there's nothing natural, so...
And
if your
it's cheap, so it's easy to make. You know, there's a lot of great things about chemicals in other products, but when you're putting it in an absorbent part of your body, if you look at big pharma, you know, they make a product that irritates the body, causes yeast infections, causes UTIs, and then they make the relief product as well, you know, Monostat or...
Yeah,
it worse?
You know, like it's a vicious cycle, and people go, oh, well, your lubes are so much more expensive. You don't need a lot because you're not having to reapply because it doesn't get sticky. It doesn't get burning, you know. It's going to be safer for your body.
So...
I get really passionate.
No, I love it. No, I actually love it. I'm really happy that you shared that
It's very
information.
informative.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's super
of
informative.
course.
I would love to continue for another hour, but unfortunately, we've reached the end of our podcast for today. Ladies, it was such a pleasure to have you here. Tiffany, I'd love you to stay for another 3 weeks so we can have you on podcast again. Dr. Marcela, I definitely would like to have you come join us again in the future in the podcast, and we can talk a little bit more. I think the connection is really nice. It was really great to have you ladies here tonight.
A lot of connection, and we have to use that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what's coming. I love Dina's smile. Dina's like, oh my gosh, yes.
I'm like a playground. This is my passion.
Brian, you were in between a lot of goddesses today, yeah? It was pretty intense for you, huh?
Yeah. And because I'm not in the show, I'm not in the studio, it's hard to jump in it. But yeah, it was wonderful. I enjoyed it a lot. There was a very good information. And thank you so much for inviting me.
No, it was my pleasure. I want to give thanks, of course, to Sopi Mix Studios sponsors, which are Qredits and SwingMasterz, Yonilove, SuccessBlizz, and of course, Matiz. And of course, if PillowTalk is not here, we can't talk about the sex topics. These ladies that came here tonight, the energy was vibing totally. I'm really happy and excited we got this opportunity to talk to you, the ladies and gentlemen back there. If you're not able to follow us tonight and you want to rewatch, definitely check us out on YouTube, on Facebook, on Google, on iPhone, Spotify. I forget them. There's so many, but you can find us anywhere pretty much. So it is. Go to PillowTalk on Instagram, PillowTalk297. Like, follow, and share.
Yay!
I'm getting better at it. I always mess it up. I always get in trouble from Brian when I say it wrong, but I'm getting better. Definitely follow us on Instagram, PillowTalk297. We put our information, our next flyer topics, our videos, and any other information that pertains to Pillow Talk. Talking about sex education, how we can make it a sexier world for you out there and for us. I mean, it's so much fun. There's so much to talk about. I'm excited about next week. Check out the flyer because you definitely want to follow our podcast next week. It's going to be some really interesting information. I was blown away by this information, and I don't know it all, but I've studied quite a bit over the time. But this topic, you got to follow it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it was such a pleasure to have you tonight here on Pillow Talk at Sopi Mix Studio. We'll see you next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Ciao, ciao.
Okay, wait. Everybody, smile to the camera. 1, 2, 3. There we got it. Perfect. Now we have the picture of all.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Good night.
Love you.
Powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduce from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand.